Welcome to the Purpose Focused Advisor. This show is for financial advisors who want to grow their business with clarity, lead with purpose, and build a life that reflects what matters most.
Welcome, welcome. It is time again for the Purpose Focused Advisor, and I'm really excited today because we get to talk about purpose, which is obviously one of my favorite topics. And we're going to do that with Michael Thaler, who ran Equity Concepts out of Midlothian, Virginia for 33 years. He was the founder. He was the chief purpose officer. There's that purpose word again already, but a very successful wealth management firm. And last year he sold it. And he's now spending his time on what, Michael, I assume is a very passionate and purposeful program. I love all those P's. It's something that's called My Purpose Plan, and I'm going to intentionally not say what My Purpose Plan is, Michael, because I think you get first shot at that. But Michael, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. It's great to be here and looking forward to it.
So, Michael, this is a crazy environment that we're in right now for financial advisors. I don't think I've ever spent more time, and not because I'm focused on purpose, but talking with advisors about purpose, because there's so much energy around selling businesses and succession plans and private equity and all of that stuff. You've got to give us a couple of minutes on what it was like to make the decision to sell this business that you started and led for 33 years.
Yes. So, 33 years, a very successful wealth management business. We went from just me to 33 years later, 16 advisors and about 30 staff and just under $2 billion under management. And we were helping our clients, no doubt, we were helping them financially to be positioned to along the way and at retirement to live out their story, their purpose. And what I found interesting was that when they would get there, or at least even along the way, they weren't living it out like they really wanted to. Lots of different reasons. It could be, what if the markets go down? What if I live too long? Inflation, healthcare. I mean, I could go on for that forever. And so they just didn't live it out like they really wanted to. So I thought, I'm going to go out there and look for something in the marketplace on purpose. It's the buzzword. Like you said, it's used all the time. It's out there. It's everywhere. And something that is simple and effective that can help people get a purpose statement, and then a program or a pathway or tool that can help them live out their purpose. Because to have a purpose statement without living it out, that's no good. And so these our clients could live the life that they were made for, live the life that the people they love deserve, be that person that they deserve. And so, and live the life they really, again, just were wanting to live. So anyways, I looked and I looked and I looked and I couldn't find it. And so I wasn't planning on selling the business at that time, but it was growing like crazy. And I just turned 60 years old. And but I knew I had to go create it. And so we did. So I sold the business to my team and then created My Purpose Plan. We worked on it for quite a while, and here we are. And it got released on May 1st, and it's going to help people live the life they were made for.
All right, so I don't want to let you off the hook. I know you wanted to kind of get to why My Purpose Plan from selling your own firm, but I want you to spend a little bit of time. What was it like as a person who was thinking about purpose to sell that wealth management practice with $2 billion under management that you'd built for 33 years?
Yeah, I I've been living my purpose out all the way through. 21 years ago, I started a ministry for Niger, Africa called Effective Ministries. And so I began living out my purpose in a big way, and had to have a purpose statement, and to radically impact the population of heaven by living out God's dream for my life, and to ignite confidence in others to live out God's dream for their lives. And so I was living that out. And I knew I needed to do that second part, ignite confidence in others to live out God's dream for their lives. So it's easy for me to jump, and it's easy for me to take that leap. So that process was, I've got all these clients that are friends, and all my team and everybody at Equity Concepts who were family. And so it was hard to move on from them, but it was easy because I knew it was going to actually help them. And so the process, that emotional process, was exciting because they knew what I was going to do and how it was going to benefit them, and I knew it was going to benefit them. So it was easier than I thought, and it was easier than I thought. But it was a very, very different transition. But we've been working on it for some years because we knew it'd be coming in sometime, just not as quick as it actually did.
Yeah. Well, thank you for taking the time to do that, because one of the things I want to emphasize that I just absolutely love about what you said is you didn't go from no purpose to purpose. You went from purpose to purpose. And I think sometimes that can be a challenge when you get so busy in building that business for 33 years that you forget your purpose. You just get too busy to think about your purpose. But you had that purpose in mind, and speeding up your shift or your change from running your own wealth management firm to something else, you were able to speed it up because it tied to something that you knew was really, really important, something that God was calling you to do.
Yes. And we knew that was coming. The team worked very hard for an incredibly smooth transition. And it was, everything was just a great transition in every way. But I've been living out my purpose heavily. That statement I gave you, it's been my guide. My decisions are made within that, all the way through even the wealth management part of the business, just so you know, too. Our company, it was God's company from the beginning. So God has a business card, and in the rack, the first card is God's card. He's a chief executive advisor, and it says God on it. And we gave our first fruits and did devotions every Monday morning from 9 to 10. And we did lots of events with our clients for outreaches, enrichment, and rehabilitating Evergreen Cemetery and things like that. We did it together. And so even as a company, we were living out purpose. But then came the clients, their purpose. Even our staff is like, okay, I see you living out, but there's no tool that actually helps us do that. I had somebody tell me the other day, they said, my purpose plan helps you craft and articulate your purpose statement and live intentionally to fuel your purpose. It's not just a tool, it's a way to shape the story God wants your life to tell. And I thought that's just exactly what we were hoping it would be, something that will actually work. So the transition wasn't too bad. I still see a lot of my clients and say hi to them as a friendly thing, but here we go.
So let me turn the conversation a little bit here. How do you define purpose? I mean, it's as you said, it's a word, or we both said it's a word that's out there and used a lot, misused a lot, but it's so important to frame it in the way that you choose to use it. So when somebody says to you, well, my purpose plan, what's purpose?
Yeah. So we believe that purpose, so you have a purpose statement. So the first thing is we would get a purpose statement, which can take, in many programs, hours, days, weeks. we have a process in 20 minutes, roughly. You have a purpose statement, as good as you can get out there. So again, we want it to be simple, effective. I'm going to answer your question on all this too. Simple, effective, energizing, intentional, exciting. And so you can get this purpose statement. So now you have this purpose statement in 20 minutes or less. And now you live it out. So how do you take this statement and let it define the life that you actually live? So purpose is, to me, actually living out this purpose statement, which is is what you were put on this earth to do. It's what you were made for. So you're made to live out your purpose. But there's a purpose statement, and then you have a tool, a program that will help you live it out. So to me, that's purpose, is living out the life you were made for through a purpose statement and a methodology that actually helps it to happen. Because the problem out there is just, live out your purpose, live out your purpose. Well, how do you do that? I mean, what do I have to help me do that? And so it's living that life that you were made for, and it's taking a purpose statement and letting it be that for you.
Yeah, great. Thank you for doing that, because my simple definition of purpose is living the life that God intended for you to live. And so it's living out that life. And I think when we keep it that simple, it can also go very, very deep, which is part of what the My Purpose Plan helps you do. So I want to, actually, I should tell the audience that I met Michael about a month ago, even though we've both been in the financial services industry in the same part of the country, of the state, for a long, long time. We never met each other. And I was at a business conference on purpose. I was on purpose at a business conference on purpose. Here we go with all the purposes again. And Michael was given the opportunity during that workshop to introduce My Purpose Plan. And I immediately thought to myself, God, and without even seeing it, if this thing actually does what Michael says that it does, it could be a game changer for financial advisors who are serious about creating a client experience for their clients that's built around purpose, that keeps clients coming back over and over again, not just to learn about their investments, not just to review their financial plan, but because they've got a coach who can coach them on their purpose so that they live a more purposeful life now, and they build a more purposeful life as they think about what the rest of their life will look like. So, Michael, I don't do a lot of advertising on this show, so that's about as good of a commercial as I can give. But I really feel strongly about what you're doing. And so I know that's something that you thought of as you were building My Purpose Plan as a tool for advisors. Build on what I've just been trying to relay.
Yes. So we knew when we started this that business owners, churches, financial advisors would be key people for this, because you mentioned it. I always felt as an advisor, and we have a responsibility, a duty to help our clients. We're helping them get positioned to be able to live out their purpose. And again, along the way, living out their purpose with the money as they're building it. We have that duty to do that, the responsibility to help them. So now with this tool, with My Purpose Plan, that can be easily done as an advisor, because it will walk them through, and I'll share in a minute what it is, but it will walk them through how to live out their purpose. So it's not adding extra work for the financial advisor. But there's also an opportunity. Meetings are about money, and money is important. That's what we're hired for, right? But a financial advisor can now talk about money and talk about purpose, and the client can come back and talk about how this is affecting their life and how that's all intertwined. And I believe that what's going to happen is that this will be a tool that will make financial advising firms very unique, the ones that use it with their clients. I believe the clients will actually tell other people, hey, my financial advisor has given me a tool. My purpose plan has actually helped me to live out what I was made for, why I'm here. And you should go see them. And by the way, they can take care of your money too. So we're all, the financial advisor world is always looking for ways to build and find referrals and get new business. I believe this is a very fresh way that's going to bring new business in, because you're going to offer something that financial advisors need to offer. And this is going to set you apart. So I'll share just for a minute what my purpose plan is. So basically, you're going to have a purpose statement. Again, will take about 20 minutes to make. And then from there, you will have 4 categories. You'll have personal, professional, family, and community. So those 4 categories. Then what you will do is you will have a theme in each one of those categories. So, and that theme is being driven from your purpose statement. Now, again, we have a tool that will help you with all of this, right? And so what happens is your purpose statement will drive your themes, and then your themes will drive, in those 4 categories, will drive your, what we call life tiles. Life tiles are goals or dreams, okay? And so then your life tiles will drive the tasks that will help you live out those goals and dreams. And those tasks will actually integrate right into your calendar. So whatever calendar you use, it will integrate in your calendar. I always tell people, sometimes when they integrate in your calendar, you see a couple things. You go, hey, what's really important on my calendar? And you'll make some decisions that will be based on your purpose. So again, your purpose statement, there's 4 categories. So your purpose statement in those 4 categories will drive your themes, which will drive your life tiles, which will drive your task, which integrate into your calendar, which will actually help you to live it out. So that's called life tiles. That's the second piece, or second module. So first is going to be your purpose statement. Second is that. And then third will be my purpose plan community, where you will be based on your purpose statement, all the way down to your themes, your tiles, key words, key statements. You will be then matched with organizations that share the same mission, the same cause, the same passion. And you will then be matched with those so you can begin to live in community in those organizations that fit around your purpose. And so now all of a sudden you have the life tiles that are integrated in your calendar, you have the community, and those 2 things will actually help you live out your purpose statement. One thing I told God the other day, I don't want to be the guy that leaves this earth who's known to help people get their purpose statement. I want to be the person that's known that help people get their purpose statement and actually help them to actually live it out. And this will do that.
Yeah. And if you think about this, I'm sure, Michael, in your financial planning practice, you use some financial planning software, which helped you set goals, but it didn't put those goals on your calendar. It were goals that you talked about, once a quarter, once a year, whatever your cadence was. And if you're being totally selfish as an advisor, if you've helped somebody by introducing them to the purpose plan and talk about their purpose with them, when those activities show up on their calendar every day, that's an opportunity for them as a client to think about you as an advisor who cares about their purpose. And that starts showing up more frequently. Maybe they look at My Purpose Plan app more often than they check stock quotes or their Schwab account or whatever other apps they use or think about when it comes to their financial relationship with their financial advisor or wealth manager.
No doubt. Yeah. It will have them focus on the life they were made for and being that person their loved ones deserve, the best person that they can be, that they just, that's what they're expecting from that loved one and who's living out their purpose. So yes, no doubt. And because the wealth man, the financial advisor is position them. They are taking care of the money. This will get them focused on what they need to get focused on. What's really cool too is you can actually share your purpose statement or a life tile with the task. You can actually hit a share button just like you would on your phone, and you can share that. So you could share a life tile that you really want to live out. You could share it with your financial advisor. You could share it with somebody else and say, hold me accountable to this. Or share it with your spouse saying, this is something I want to do with you, and we're going to do this together. And or you could share with a friend and go, look what my financial advisory firm is doing. Look at this. Here's my purpose statement. Here's my life tiles. You got to check this out. How do I get that? Come talk to my financial advisor. So so we want accountability to be there. And so there'll be accountability, and we're super excited about. There's so many pieces I could talk about, but we could get so deep into the different layers of this, but just again thinking about them in relationship to the advisor-client relationship. I think for the purposes of this there you go, using that purpose word again. It's like red cars. I just bought one, so now they're all red. But for the purpose of this podcast, I said, there's like this selfish thing. This is a trick, not really, but let's just call it if you'll indulge me, a trick for a second to get the client to think about the advisor more often. But if we take that to a much higher level, what it is a tool that advisors can use when they're planning with their clients to help their clients actually relate what they are doing in their lives today and want to relate to lives in the future, what their purpose is, which drives a lot of other financial decisions, not just financial decisions, but instead of thinking about maybe one day I'm going to get involved in that charity in Niger, Africa, or I'm going to one day build a well or volunteer at the local food bank. It gives them an avenue to actually go from plan to purpose to doing something and having that show up. Yes. So all this, because it's always been about money with their advisor, and now it's about living this out. Because their advisor cares enough that we're not just getting you to a place, kind of like having a purpose statement, not living it out, getting you to a place financially and not living out what you want to live. That I have an advisor that cares about my whole life, not just about my money. And that relationship is going to be completely different. And the conversations in the meetings, you might have to get to the money saying, because they're going to be like, let me tell you what's happening. And what a wonderful, and as we were developing this, we did a little bit with a few of our clients, and I could tell you story after story where they'd come in going, I've been wanting to cut this check to my 2 kids or to this charity or whatever it may be. And I haven't done it because I was just looking at the money piece of it. But now that I've got a purpose statement, I have a life tile that says that I want to do these things with this charity and list them. I wrote those checks because now I have a plan to do that. And it takes the money piece into purposeful action on generosity, living their lives. It's going to change generosity in a huge way for people. It's going to be just a cool thing. So yes, that relationship with that advisor is going to be completely different, and those meetings are going to be completely different, and their lives will be completely different than just a financial advisory relationship.
Yeah, and not to discount that relationship, you of all people know how important the relationship is, but it's even more important because you're helping them build a kind of wealth that is more important than financial wealth, that purpose wealth, that wealth of being the person that God called you to be. What could be more important? So Michael, I want to test you.
Okay.
I want to test myself actually. I want to read you my purpose statement that I created on my purpose plan. I want you to tell me how I did.
Okay.
And what my purpose plan did for me was it helped me refine a purpose statement that I already had. So I did the 20-minute version actually in the live workshop that I was with you. And then I said, okay, how do I knock that up against what I've been trying to live out? And so this is where having two different sets of glasses works against me. So my purpose is to inspire others to embrace their God-given purpose by helping them discover, strengthen, and live out their calling, breaking free from limitations and stepping boldly into the life they were created to live through intentional coaching, teaching, and leadership. So I say that because I wouldn't have that statement, which I feel very strongly about, although I wish I could say it off the top of my head more quickly than I can right now. I wouldn't have that if I didn't take the time to use the tool that we've been talking about.
Yeah, I love. That's the first time I heard your purpose statement, so I love that. It's what I love about it is it's very pointed. It's very personal. We just had a ladies' Bible study group. 14 ladies all did it together and then shared them, and they were all so different and so personalized. I love that because I started reading your book and I've gotten to know you just a little bit. Like you said, we haven't known each other but about a month, right? And that's you. So now, and I know you're working on the life tiles and everything. So now that becomes not part of your life, the whole purpose piece, but now it gets very intentional. That word that you use, very intentional and effective and simple to live out. And so now, God's going to use you already using you to change lives and impact lives. But this will be another level now, which is beautiful.
Yeah, no, I love it because I am a process person, although for years I hated to admit that. I wanted everybody to think of me as being Rob, the creative type, but I love process. And I have a process for helping the people that I work with get to their purpose and their purpose statement and attaching that to the coaching work that I do. But right now, and I'm also right now in a very busy season of my life where I haven't had as much time with my purpose plan as I would like. So I'm full disclosure. But as I've taken the time to do that and think about the work that I'm doing with my clients, I'm thinking this is a great tool for me because it actually does a lot of the work of helping my clients get to their purpose, get to their life tiles, their big goals and visions, and then break them down into tasks. So I've got my life tiles now. I just haven't taken the next step to put them into tasks.
Yeah, we were talking to somebody the other day who is a coach, a business coach, and they're like, "This is what I've needed. This tool, like you're saying, is going to help me do this for my clients." So then you can continually coach all around that and all the other things. So it's a really needed tool. And people are busy. Like you're saying, you're busy. Busy seasons seem to come more than go. And people need things that work. Again, simple and effective, quickly. I mean, there's some time you have to put into it, but once you get the life tiles and get that going, it's just phenomenal. And then also it grows with you. So, I told you I just turned 60. So I was 60 in April. I'll be a grandfather in July. So about a month and a half, first time. And so I have a new tile. It's how to be an awesome grandparent. Just moved into a neighborhood. We've lived for 25 years with lots of land and very few neighbors. And we intentionally moved into a neighborhood because we want to be intentional, great neighbors. And so I moved from basically 10 acres to 7 acres to 0.31. And I could see 40 neighbors. And so I'm now intentionally, I just read the book. It was part of one of my tasks, The Art of Neighboring. And I'm doing the things that I have listed. And now all the time neighbors come up to me and go, "I've never met a neighbor like you." like, what's different about you? And I go, I'm just living out my purpose, specifically in this category, my neighbor tile. So at the end of life, you have all these tiles, right? And you're at it's your funeral, and people say all kinds of great things about you. But imagine on the screen behind you. I know we don't have a picture, but in a few minutes we can talk about where people can go and see life tiles. But imagine the life tiles behind you. That is how God worked through you over your life. But imagine your spouse and your kids, life tiles next to yours, and generations down the road, your grandchildren and great-grandchildren go, this is how God's worked through my family, and they can visually see through life tiles how God worked through generations of your family. That's exciting.
Oh, it is. It is. And because it takes a simple task or a tile, something that you think is important, and ties it back to that big purpose. And so that's the process part of me. I love it when things all tie together. So you know that each thing that you are doing is helping you live out that purpose. It doesn't replace your calendar, who you need to meet with every day if you're an advisor, but it adds something to your calendar dimension. And as you were talking, what just dawned on me is I need to go into my purpose plan and create a task where every day when I am doing my daily devotion, I add a little bit of extra time to work on my purpose. And I think if I added that task, I'd probably get it done faster. And I do a lot of productivity coaching in the work that I do, and that seems like it's probably some advice I would give to myself if I were my own client trying to get my purpose plan done.
Yes, that will help. And even the little things, the simple things. So like for me, I've never really been really overweight, but I could lose 20 pounds. It'd be great to do. And I eat okay, and gym's okay, going to the gym, but I put a life tile. I said, I got to do this. So I said, okay, first I'm going to read Peter Tia's book on Outlive, and then I'm going to hire trainers. So I know I have to show up, and because I did the New Year's resolution, I did all the different things. I subscribed to this or that, and I lost 30 pounds in the next 60 days. All my triglycerides, everything, they weren't bad, but they all went down. Everything, my doctor's like, this is wonderful. And I was like, yeah, because I had something intentional that really works versus something that gets you all hyped up and then the new year starts and then life kicks in. Because everyday life that's what we're fighting against, everyday life. Because everyday life has a specialty of taking you off your high. If I do this, this, and this, and I will do this, which is usually a thing that's really good, a charity, whatever. And it, if just puts God on pause, and everyday life gets busy. And as financial advisors, I know that it gets busy, but this will push everyday life back. So you, as the advisor, will live out your purpose, you will live a purposeful life different than you were. And so will your clients. And, if you can't tell, I'm super excited.
I knew that before we started recording. So, Michael, it is time to land the plane. And we've covered a lot of ground, and there's a lot more that we could talk about. But is there anything else that you want to make sure you leave with the audience about purpose or my purpose plan that will they'll help them think about continue to think about why purpose is so important?
Yeah, just I know I've said it many times. Just stop for a minute and ask yourself the question: am I living the life that I am made for? Am I that person my loved ones deserve? And if we're all honest with that, we may be doing that to whatever degree. But no, there's more. We know there's more. There's an unfulfillment that my purpose plan will bring from your purpose that will fill, and it will fill up that cup of unfulfillment. It will make it you will have a more fulfilling life. And just for a minute, imagine, go beyond you as the advisor and go beyond your client just for a minute, all your clients. Just imagine too, having a firm, maybe where you bring your clients together at some kind of get together, and everybody shares their purpose. So they're all talking about living out their purpose. I mean, it's going to be a whole different atmosphere. But what happens when lots of people are living out their purpose all over the United States? And I have this quote that I love. I love quotes. I probably shared it the day we were together by Rick Warren. It says, "Snowflakes are frail, but if enough of them stick together, they can stop traffic." And so imagine all these people, you, the advisor, your clients, their kids, their friends, their friends' parents that have referred back to you now that they're your clients too. And just imagine as this grows, that's going to happen. So I wanted to share that. And then another quote that I love, it's a tougher quote, but it says, "You look like your parents when you're born, you look like your choices when you die." And I would just challenge the advisors listening. You can go to mypurposeplan.com and go to the website. There's even a part under organizations. You can see it talks about the advantages that having this as a financial advisory practice, and what those advantages are, those things that are going to make it different, those values. And so go there. You can take the free purpose statement maker. The purpose statement is free. And it is incredibly reasonable to be in this. I mean, it could be as low as $5.83 a month. So we wanted to make this so everybody can be a part, and even make it so advisors could say, "Look, I'm going to add this on as something that I offer." And so go there, and you can also go to the app. Just go in your app store if you're with Google or Apple, and My Purpose Plan, load the app, and you can do it there also. So I would challenge you to do that. You can also get a hold of me if you want to, multiple ways. One is go to Michael at mypurposeplan.com. And I have no problem giving my phone number out, 804-339-7301. Shoot me a text. Let's make a time. I know the world you're in, and I'm so excited about the impact the financial advisory marketplace is going to have on people's lives. It's going to change the world forever.
Yeah, I think I said this to you. I really believe that financial advisors truly have the opportunity to be disciples. And My Purpose Plan is a great tool to get into that business of discipleship, or maybe it's a little tricky because you don't know how to have that first conversation with your client.
Yeah. And if you think about it, I mean, we're handling people's money, right? That is very important to people, a high level importance. And now you're taking purpose, high level importance. You've got two things of such a high level of importance, such a depth of that relationship. Financial advisors have an opportunity. I mentioned businesses and churches, unlike any other industry, because they're already in such a super important part of their life. Add this on top of it, and then combine it together. It's life-changing. Yeah, for the business, for your practice, but life-changing for you, your staff, and for your clients.
Yeah. Well, I love it, Michael. I thank you so much for being on the podcast today. To our guests, I want to say thank you for listening in. I'll put all of Michael's contact info in the show notes so you can easily get to My Purpose Plan. I should say that I did my plan on my computer because it helps my eyes, but I look back at it using the app. So I love that combination. And so let's end it here, Michael. Again, thank you everybody for listening. And remember, we are always rooting for your success. Take care.
Thanks for listening to The Purpose Focused Advisor. If today's episode gave you something to think about or a step you're ready to take, head over to truestfancoaching.com. There you'll find tools, resources, and ways we can work together to help you lead with purpose and build the business and life you were meant for. If you enjoyed the show, we'd be grateful if you take a moment to rate and review it. It helps more advisors find their way here.